Welcome.
There were many movies and games that ruled my afternoons as a kid. One of them being the Indiana Jones trilogy. The great adventure had returned with exotic locales and action-packed scenes, which led to some of the greatest movie moments ever. Though we can't forget the intense opening sequences, which usually set the tone for the films. The sacred artifacts gave a shroud of mystery and wonder to it all, with each containing a great power within. Then we had the characters, with some being likable and others not so much. My favorites are Sallah, Jones Sr., Short Round, and Marion. With the subject of video games, there's one that I've been wanting to review for a while now. Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures was released in 1994 for the Super Nintendo. Developed by Factor 5, Greatest Adventures follows the same structure of the Super Star Wars series, giving players an abridged run through the moments of Raiders to the Last Crusade. To help Indy throughout his dangerous adventures are his trusty whip, which is your medium-range weapon and does a little more damage to the enemies, the revolver, which fires at a longer range but deals about 4 to 5 hits, and finally there are the grenades. Pretty self-explanatory. Though we cannot forget Indy's natural abilities, such as running, jumping, rolling, and punching. The controls work very well and are responsive, as you'll be jumping and swinging through various caves and other locales. In the midst of the platforming are vehicle-based stages, which are far and few between, unfortunately. For the presentation, Factor 5 did a good job with the source material, as they managed to capture the spirit of the scenes, which is contributed to the details located in the backgrounds, the lighting, in addition to the music. Each of the levels look visually appealing, and none are scorching to the eyes. The game follows the films pretty faithfully. While there are some scenes missing, such as the truck chase and the grail choice, this is more of a nitpick than anything else. The grail choice should have been a no-brainer though. The music is great too, with each track giving their respective level a great deal of atmosphere while retaining that movie score feel. Some being adventurous and ominous, others having a sense of intensity to them. You know something is going down when you hear this. Two tracks that I personally enjoy are The Well of Souls and The Maze. There's just something so calming and tranquil to them, again adding to the atmosphere. I'm afraid that the music does have limitations as well, and there's no excuse. The three films had a great amount of scores to choose for the game, and the majority comes from Raiders, with a few from Temple of Doom. However, Crusade gets no love in the music department. While the tracks do repeat, they never felt out of place, so I'll give them that. While not as difficult as its Super Star Wars counterpart, there are a few things that can make this game a bit frustrating. Let's start with the why it's more forgiving aspect. Well, I can actually beat this.
He chose poorly.
Fine, I'll give real reasons. The game is very generous with the extra lives, as in the start you'll be given a lot of chances to stack up. Trust me, there's even one level that practically gives them away. Another factor is, there's no presence of a timer. While this may not seem like a big deal, it does get rid of the pressure, and you can take your time to progress to the more frustrating parts of the game. Unless you're some gaming god like this man.
Well, I'm pushing stars, man. What's going on here? Alien, I need your help.
The enemies and the bosses are a bit underwhelming, with the standard AI being, well, stupid. Toad and Donovan will at least put up a fight, but Belloc and Mola Ram are kind of pushovers. Also, the vehicle stages are not that difficult, well, in my opinion. I had little trouble with them, and they do have their own hazards and such, but chances are you'll get through these with no issues. Now, I've been thinking on how I'm going to word this, and the only thing that comes to mind is a term I like to call generic complaints. Basically, anything that can make this game artificially difficult can be found in other games as well. You have the usual suspects such as airborne enemies that seem to have a reproduction party, which you better pray that they're solid ground when you do get hit. Progressing through traps and hazards, which is fine really. I can tolerate the bats, the spikes, and the lava, but falling rocks isn't what I should have issues with. Some act in a pattern, and others are just non-stop, and it's a damn pain. This is where the rolling comes in handy. Also, I don't want to count one-hit death stages since that's a little too easy, and besides, there's only 2 levels that have this. Now that I think about it, this game offers a pretty decent challenge. Annoying, but decent. In conclusion, Greatest Adventures is a solid movie-based title, with great attention to the source material, not to mention the good and responsive controls. As an added bonus, you get to fight M. Bison. If you're looking to kill a good hour or so, I give Greatest Adventures a solid recommendation. It is available on the Wii's Virtual Console for 800 points. And before I end this review, I feel I need to address this. I thought Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was okay. Yes, I do agree that it's deeply flawed and unnecessary, but it was still enjoyable in its own stupid way. Sure, it misses the charm of the previous films, but I've seen far worse. With that said, this has been Moviegoer signing off with, it's not the years, it's the mileage. Take care, and have a happy gaming.